tell me if the screen is visible or not. Last session, we have already started with process of recruitment. Before that, we have already completed an answer which was about what are the factors because or that affect recruitment. Okay, we have seen altogether 4 to 5 points in that. Size of the enterprise, employment condition, salary structure and working condition, and rate of growth. Right after that, I think I already started with recruitment process, of which I have completed first 3 points. Point number one was recruitment planning. So first you are going to identify how many people are required in your company. Okay, what kind of qualification, experience they should have. Okay, what level of pay you are in a position to offer to them, their starting date, then whether this employment will be on temporary or on permanent basis. So you will decide all this in recruitment planning. Okay, after which you are going to start designing the strategies. Okay, so in strategy development, you will okay, there are a few students in the waiting room. Let them join in. Okay, so your next step is strategy development, where you will start, designing strategies on how to bring the employees on board. Okay, what will be the sources of recruitment? Okay, whether you are going to take people from internal sources or whether you are going to take people from external sources. Okay, so over here you are going to design the strategy. And then comes point number three. I think that was also completed, but a very quick recap of point number three, that is searching. So in case of searching the candidates, okay, you are going to identify two major sources, internal and external. So internal sources, students, wherein you find out people from within the company. Okay, either you give them promotions or referrals from your own employees, right? Or probably you are re-recruiting from the former employees and applications. Okay, that is internal recruitment. Then comes external sources of recruitment, wherein you can put the advertisements in the leading newspapers or on the job portals. You can have a tie-up with employment agencies, media sources. You can go and conduct interviews in schools and colleges and universities, right? So this is how your external sources are listed. I hope there is no difficulty in point number one, point number two, and point number three. Both the answers are interconnected, which is factors affecting recruitment and then the recruitment process. Moving on to point number point number four or step number four, which is screening the candidates. Okay, we have a VVIP person entering the session, Crystal Jose. He's trying to, log in, but I guess there's some internet issues. Moving to point number four, which is screening. Okay, students, ये step बहुत important होता है. Over here, we are going to do the first round screening of the job applicants. Okay, in that interview नहीं होता है यहाँ पे. You screen the candidates and you identify whether they meet the basic requirements or not. Let us start from point number four. कौन read करेगा ये point number four? I hope it is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Screening,
Okay.
though some view screening as starting point of selection, we have considered it as an integral part of recruitment. The reason being the selection process starts only after the applications have been screened and shortlisted. Job specification is invaluable in screening. Applications are screened against the qualification, knowledge, skills, ability, interest, and experience mentioned in the job specification. Those who do not qualify are straightaway eliminated from the selection process. Shall I continue?
Yes, this is the last 2-3 lines. Now you continue.
The techniques used for screening candidates vary depending on the source of supply and method used for recruitment. Preliminary applications, deselection tests, and screening interviews are common techniques used for screening the candidates.
Okay, so what did we do so far, students? We have done the planning, we have developed the strategies, we started screening, we have identified the sources. internal and external. And now this is one of the crucial part of recruitment process, which is screening the candidates. Okay, now let me tell you, when I started my career as a HR, I handled the profile of, you know, conducting first round screening of the applicants. Okay, so my job was to see if the candidates meet the basic or whether they fulfill the basic requirement of the job. For example, if I am recruiting for a Lance process, I used to see if the candidate is minimum graduate, good in communication skills, okay, having experience in the relevant industry for at least 1 year. Okay, so these were few criteria, pre-decided criteria. Mera nahi, company ka. Okay, so screening process mein the recruiter is going to start shortlisting the candidate whether they meet this pre-requirements or not. Okay, so बहुत सारे applicants आते हैं and then you start identifying कि अच्छा ये लोग minimum criteria meet कर रहे हैं या नहीं. Okay, and then of course we also not just education qualification or experience or their communication, you also have to understand whether the applicant is having that kind of interest or not in the present in the, you know, in the job offer. Because sometimes what happens is in some of these sectors students applicant है ना time pass के लिए job ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं, इंटर्नशिप बोल रहे हैं, या फिर यू नो जस्ट टू गेन लिटिल एक्सपीरियंस इन द इनिशियल पीरियड ऑफ देयर करियर. सो वो लोग, वो स्टेबिलिटी इशू होगा मेरे लिए. Okay, so I have to also understand whether the interest is there or not. कि candidate उतना interest दिखा रहा है या नहीं. So all these things I will analyze, okay, and accordingly will decide and shortlist the candidates. Okay, किसके against करूंगी? Job specification के against. Okay, I'll see what kind of pre-decided criteria and you know is set by the company, and accordingly I'll start shortlisting. Abhi screening is the phase where sometimes what happens is as a recruiter आप है ना श्योर नहीं हो कि इसको आगे लेके जाना है या नहीं. In that case, okay, since this is not a part of complete selection process, always advisable, always advisable, do not reject the candidate. Okay, for example, मेरा कैंडिडेट जॉब स्पेसिफिकेशन में 9 क्राइटेरियाज है, 9 में से 5 to 6 क्राइटेरिया फुलफिल कर रहा है, लेकिन 2-3 क्राइटेरिया फुलफिल नहीं कर रहा है. एंड नाउ आई एम नॉट श्योर, ओके, whether I should take this candidate ahead to the next level or not. ऐसे circumstances में where you are in the dilemma, always advisable कि ये recruitment part ही है, this is not the selection part, hence do not reject the candidate. Okay, there is operational round interview, there will be interview conducted by the operational manager. वो selection वो decide कर सकते हैं ना कि whether the candidate is suitable or not. Okay, just guys, just 1 minute. Okay, I'm so sorry for the disturbance. All right. So when I'm not very sure, students, I should never reject the candidate. See, the textbook is clearly saying it is a part of recruitment process. It is not a part of selection process. So screening is just to filter the candidates. That's it. Now there are different techniques of screening. Okay, you can conduct an interview session, or you can conduct some return test. Okay, and see if the candidate is whether fulfills the minimum basic criteria of the job offer, and then you can go ahead with the next step. There are 2 people in the waiting room. Okay, I hope there is no difficulty in understanding point number 4, that is screening. Okay, this is first round screening. Over here, you are just going to verify whether the candidate meets the basic requirement or not against the job specification. And I'm repeating again and again. Why? Because आप लोग भी ना अपना जब job start करेंगे, especially in the same field as a HR recruiter, maybe you will be given the job of screening the candidates. Okay, please make sure that when you're not very confident about your decision कि आपको इस candidate को select करना है या reject करना है, वो point of time पे आप always advisable कि candidate को second test में डाल दो. Let the operational manager decide whether the candidate is suitable or not. My own experience, मुझे कभी कभी ऐसा लग रहा था ये कैंडिडेट फिट नहीं है, लेकिन ऑपरेशनल मैनेजर का व्यू अलग ही होता था. okay? उसको वो कैंडिडेट बहुत टैलेंटेड लगते थे. तो देयरफॉर ये स्क्रीनिंग इज जस्ट अ प्रोसेस ऑफ फिल्टरिंग द कैंडिडेट. ओके, अच्छा बिल्कुल ही नहीं रिक्वायरमेंट मैच कर रहा है, देन यू कैन डेफिनेटली रिजेक्ट द कैंडिडेट. फॉर एग्जांपल, माय मिनिमम criteria of education qualification set is graduation, कि कैंडिडेट मिनिमम ग्रेजुएट होना चाहिए. अभी जो एप्लीकेंट आया है इंटरव्यू देने is having 80 KTs in SY and TY या जो भी, and is not having the final graduation सर्टिफिकेट या मार्कशीट, तो उसको मैं वहां पे ही एलिमिनेट कर दूंगी, क्योंकि वो मेरा बेसिक रिक्वायरमेंट फुलफिल नहीं कर रहा है. ओके, मेरी कंपनी का पॉलिसी है कि ग्रेजुएट्स को ही हायर करना है. So over here, no matter how good the candidate is in communication skills, no matter how good he is in people skills, no matter how good knowledge he has about sales, I will not take the candidate because he's not meeting the minimum basic criteria. So screening is done to filter the candidates. Moving on to point number 5, which is evaluation and control. I assume कि screening में आपको कोई difficulty नहीं हुई.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
All right. Okay, guys. So we move towards point number 5, which is evaluation and control. Okay.
Evaluation and control. Given the considerable cost involved in the recruitment process, its evaluation and control is therefore imperative. The costs generally incurred in a recruitment process include salary of recruiters, cost of time spent for preparing job analysis, advertisement, administrative expenses, cost of outsourcing or overtime while vacancies remain unfilled, cost incurred in recruiting unsuitable candidates.
Okay, since we have stopped on point number 4, screening the candidate, इसके आगे हमारा next step क्यों नहीं आया? Because इसके बाद वाले जो steps है वो selection process में आप सीखोगे. Okay, recruitment is just identifying the gap and trying to fill the gap by inviting the applicants. Okay, screening वाला जो step था ना, वहां पे आप क्या कर रहे हो? फिल्टर कर रहे हो कैंडिडेट को. आई एम टेलिंग यू अगेन एंड अगेन, वहां पे आप सिलेक्ट नहीं कर रहे हो, आप सिर्फ फिल्टर कर रहे हो. नाउ स्टेप नंबर 5 इज इवैल्यूएशन एंड कंट्रोल. बेसिकली दिस इज नॉट अ स्टेप, इट इज समथिंग व्हिच आई थिंक एवरी कंपनी शुड have this mechanism of understanding the costs and expenses incurred, okay, towards the entire recruitment process and what is the outcome. Okay, of course, imperative मतलब बहुत important है that you analyze that how much money are you putting in recruitment process. Okay, you have recruiters जिनको आपको salary देनी है. Okay, then you have done advertisements, you have put up advertisements on job portals, newspapers, you have paid money behind that. Okay, and then you need to analyze ना इतना पैसा डालने के बाद क्वालिटी कैंडिडेट्स आए हैं क्या प्रेमाइसिस में इंटरव्यू अपीयर करने. एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एक्सपेंसेस, क्योंकि जो कैंडिडेट्स आते हैं in the organization to appear for the interview, उनको अलग अलग स्टेप्स फॉलो करना होता है. एक फॉर्म फिल करना होता है, फिर उसके बाद में मेरा नेक्स्ट स्टेप होगा शायद रिटर्न टेस्ट लूंगी. ओके, ऑल दिस इनकर्स एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव एक्सपेंसेस, सो आई एम पुटिंग मनी ओवर देयर. Okay, high chances that till the time the vacancy is unfilled, okay, till the time I'm getting a suitable candidate, I am outsourcing that job. Okay, मतलब वो पोस्ट वैकेंट है तो काम तो आप रोकेंगे नहीं, राइट? सो यू विल गिव दैट वर्क टू समवन एल्स, राइट? सो व्हाट इज द कॉस्ट इन्वॉल्व इन आउटसोर्सिंग अ पर्टिकुलर कैंडिडेट? सिंपल एग्जांपल, इफ यू हैव अ फुल टाइम फैकल्टी, आपने एक सैलरी डिसाइड किया है, वो फुल टाइम फैकल्टी को सैलरी देना है, एंड द फैकल्टी इज इन चार्ज टू सी दैट सब्जेक्ट वो कैसे हैंडल कर रहे हैं, कैसे सिलेबस कंप्लीट कर रहे हैं, एग्जाम ड्यूटी कैसे कंप्लीट कर रहे हैं, तो ये एक है ना रीजनेबल होता है। ऑन दी अदर हैंड अगर आप विजिटिंग फैकल्टीज को बुलाओगे, एक्सपेंसिव होगा, क्योंकि वो लोग पर सेशन के हिसाब से लेते हैं, राइट? तो सिमिलरली हियर आल्सो इन द कंपनीज, ओके, till the time the vacancy is unfilled, I most likely am getting the work done from somebody else. Maybe that somebody else is charging very high. फिर पॉइंट नंबर 5 क्या लिखा है? कॉस्ट इनकर्ड इन रिक्रूटिंग अनसुटेबल कैंडिडेट्स। ओ दिस इज मस्ट टू एनालाइज, क्योंकि अगर आपने अनसुटेबल कैंडिडेट को हायर कर लिया, तो नेक्स्ट स्टेप पे चला जाएगा वो, है ना? नेक्स्ट स्टेप क्या है? सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस। ऑपरेशनल मैनेजर, बहुत सारे कैंडिडेट्स को मिलने के लिए तो टाइम नहीं है ना उनके पास, राइट? तो वो सिलेक्टेड कैंडिडेट्स को ही मिल पाएंगे। देयरफॉर मैं स्क्रीनिंग करती हूँ कि आई कैन सेव टाइम एंड मनी, राइट? तो इफ आई एम पुटिंग अक्रॉस समवन इनटू टेस्ट 2, जहाँ पे मैं श्योर नहीं थी कैंडिडेट के बारे में, तो ऑपरेशनल मैनेजर चार्ज कर रहा है, ओके, फीस टू कंडक्ट एन इंटरव्यू फॉर फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर कैंडिडेट। अभी मेरा अनसूटेबल कैंडिडेट को एक आगे लेके जाना नेक्स्ट लेवल पे इज अगेन एन एक्सपेंस इनकर्ड टू मी ड्यूरिंग द रिक्रूटमेंट process. I hope the answer is very simple. There are only 4 steps. You plan, you prepare strategy, you identify the sources, and lastly you are going to screen the candidates. Since ये 4 steps होने के बाद में आप evaluate करेंगे कि आपने कितना cost incur किया, and what kind of people have you brought in the company for appearing the interviews. I hope there is no difficulty in the answer.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So students, when I had joined this organization prior to SEBI, I was working as a HR recruiter, and my first post was conducting screening interviews. It was very challenging for me because मैं for एक महीना तो सिर्फ constantly मेरे immediate boss को खाली व्यू करती थी। मेरा फर्स्ट 1 मंथ इतना ही था कि मुझे खाली व्यू करना है हाउ शी इज कंडक्टिंग द इंटरव्यू, ओके, एंड हाउ शी इज ट्राइंग टू फिल्टर द कैंडिडेट्स। Okay, so first 1 month I was just in the cabin, and I was just viewing how the interview is happening, okay, and then I started off with as a HR recruiter, first round screening of the candidate. Actually HR recruiter first job होता है जहाँ पे executive level पे you try to uh, uh, analyze the resumes which are posted on job portals. Company is having its own login ID and password, and we pay the annual subscription fees to monster.com and Times job feed etc etc. फिर रिक्रूटर्स मेरे पास में वो रेज्यूमे के बेसिस पे लोगों को इंटरव्यू के लिए बुलाते हैं। वो वेरी फर्स्ट प्रोफाइल होता है, बट आई वाज डायरेक्टली गिवन द प्रोफाइल ऑफ कंडक्टिंग फर्स्ट राउंड स्क्रीनिंग। तो मैं फर्स्ट राउंड स्क्रीनिंग आई थिंक ऑलमोस्ट 6 months ये जॉब किया था, एंड आई हैड अ वंडरफुल एक्सपीरियंस, ओके, बिकॉज यू मीट सो मेनी पीपल, ओके, एंड आपको ना धीरे धीरे आपका क्वालिटी ऑफ फिल्टरिंग द कैंडिडेट्स इंप्रूव होते जाता है। Okay? मैंने आपको बोला ना स्टेट ऑफ कंफ्यूजन, वेदर मैं ये एम्प्लॉय को रिजेक्ट करूं या सिलेक्ट करूं, okay? क्योंकि बेसिक क्राइटेरिया तो फुलफिल कर रहा है, लेकिन लग नहीं रहा है बॉडी लैंग्वेज से कि ये जॉब कर पाएगा, या इसका इंटरेस्ट इंटैक्ट नहीं दिख रहा है। तो दिस कैलकुलेशन स्लोली इम्प्रोवाइज्ड, ओके। फिर आफ्टर 6 months then I was posted to ER department, which is employee relations department, a very new department with very few people working, okay. So we were a team of 5 or 6 people, okay, and employee relations department we were considered as intermediaries between the employer and the employee, Okay, so we negotiated if there are any discrepancies, salary issue हो गया या फिर behavioral issue हो गया फ्लोर पे, किसी एम्प्लॉय को अपने मैनेजर से प्रॉब्लम है और समथिंग, दे यूज्ड टू रिपोर्ट इट टू अस. ओके, हमारा काम होता था, हमारी टीम का काम होता था इन्वेस्टिगेट करना. ओके, अभी पूरे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को ऐसे लगता था कि हमारा काम है टू कंडक्ट इवेंट्स, टू ऑर्गेनाइज picnics and fest for the employees, but our main work was also this, to negotiate, to also find out solutions for employees who are having problems. And then we used to work like an investigating team. Okay, and this was a very interesting job, and therefore I am just elaborating all of you कि आप लोग भी जब start करोगे ना अपना career HR field में, आप एक recruiter की तरह काम करेंगे. फिर उसके बाद में you are going to work on journalistic profile, which includes PF, ESIC, salary calculation, attendance monitoring of the employee, जो biometrics के base के help से होता है. फिर HR MIS maintain करना, which is human resource management information, okay, of your people, and सारे correspondence के काम. Okay, letter of offer letter, फिर letter of appointment, confirmation letter, letter of warning, exit interview, ये सारा काम कौन करता है? Journalistic profile. Okay, exit interview was then later on given to us. Okay, ER department used to conduct exit interview, so that in case if we feel that the employee is genuine and something can be done to retain that employee, we used to send the proposal to the top management. Okay, कि ये employee ने exit interview में ये valid points दिए हैं for discontinuation, and if we can work on those points, we can retain that particular employee. So we used to also handle employee attrition. Okay, handle employee attrition मतलब क्या? पहले तो हम calculate करते थे कि कितने employees छोड़ के जा रहे हैं. Then what are the reasons that they are leaving the company? Okay, what is making them discontinue with the company? Okay, and then what efforts did we do to retain them? Okay, and eventually कितने लोग retain हुए और कितने लोग retain नहीं हुए. Okay, so all this also was taken care by the ER department. मैं ये सब आपको इसलिए बोल रही हूँ because you are also going to do all this. And ER department now is, I think, one of the mandatory department, especially with, I'm talking about big companies. Okay, those organizations which are conscious about their image and would want to do better for their employees. तो आपको direct ER department में work profile नहीं मिलेगा. Initially you start with recruiter, then you handle journalistic profile, then you start conducting interviews. Okay, once you start improvising in analyzing people, and once your people skills are improvised, then you will be taken to ER department, and then obviously in ER department you do a lot of interesting work. And I'm very sure मेरा 2012 में अगर road accident नहीं हुआ होता तो I possibly would have continued in that particular field, but since that particular job requires a work commitment of minimum you can say 14 to 15 hours a day. Okay, that was not possible for me, hence I took up something else, and I continued, and then I slowly developed passion towards teaching. But I would have continued in the same profession given a chance, because बहुत interesting काम होता है. Okay, so all the TY students who are now, you have opted for HR, you should know in and out कि क्या क्या profile, अलग क्या क्या responsibility हो सकती है as a HR executive. Okay, it will take a lot of time for you to move from executive level to managerial position, especially in HR department. Okay, why over here it takes some more time? Because unless you develop people skills, unless you are having good what do you say, equation with people out there, unless you are thorough with the company's policy, unless you are quite आप पूरे कंपनी कल्चर को पूरा अडेप्ट कर चुके हो, जब तक आप वो पॉइंट नहीं रीच करते हो, द डिपार्टमेंट विल नॉट प्रमोट यू टू मैनेजरियल पोजीशन. कि स्टार्ट आइडेंटिफाइंग कि क्या क्या और कोर्सेज किया जा सकता है इन दिस पर्टिकुलर फील्ड, ताकि और अच्छा और अच्छा आपको अपॉर्चुनिटी मिले. Okay. All right, guys, I move ahead towards challenges in recruitment. These are major challenges. I think we will take 1 or 2 points and then probably I'll stop. Let us see the introductory part. Okay, Yashvi. Or if anybody else can read, that is also okay. Which I hope my voice is audible, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
Thank God. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we begin with challenges and recruitment. Who is going to read that? Anyone? Jaldi jaldi start karo so that I wind up.
Challenges in recruitment. The recruitment process is a difficult and other time consuming, and many companies prefer to outsource the process simple because of how many tasks are required in order to complete the objectives of finding a good employees. For example, it can be difficult to know whether or not a resume is legitimate. Many employees will take a resume. They also take referrals of certifications. This present a clear problem to employ how are trying to find qualified candidates to fill their particular position.
Okay, before we begin with the major challenges, the introductory paragraph is saying that recruitment is a very time consuming process. Okay, it takes a hell lot of time to understand the resume, to understand the background of the candidate. Okay, to even figure out if the resume is legitimate or not legitimate, यानी correct है या नहीं. कोई candidate fake resume लेके आते हैं, fake certificates लेके आते हैं, fake referrals लेके आते हैं. So it becomes a very time consuming process uh, to do a background check of the candidate. Okay, so these are the major challenges in front of the recruitment team. Okay, let us see one by one. There are specific problems. Point number one is finding a qualified employee in time. All right.
Finding a qualified employee in time. Many companies need an employee right now. They have just laid someone off or had to fire someone because of uncontrollable circumstances. They might also have to let a person go because they voluntarily left for a better opportunity. Either way, this employer likely has an intermediate needs. With an intermediate needs, you have to fill that position promptly or also can cost the employer money.
Okay, now very first challenge is to find out a qualified employee on time. Okay, especially if the vacancy has suddenly arise. Okay, if somebody has suddenly left the company for several reasons. Okay, which is uncontrollable. Uncontrollable यानी employer के हाथ में ही नहीं था. What if my employee has got a better opportunity outside and the competitor is able to pay double than what I am paying? ओके तो मैं अपने एम्प्लॉय को रोक तो नहीं सकती हूँ ना, राइट. सो इन दैट सर्कमस्टांसेस आई हैव टू लेट द एम्प्लॉय वॉलंटरली गो. ओके, अभी ये केस में क्या होगा, मुझे बहुत क्विक रिक्रूटमेंट करना पड़ेगा क्योंकि वो पोस्ट में बहुत लंबे समय तक वैकेंट नहीं रख सकती. ऑल्सो आउटसोर्सिंग इज गोइंग टू कॉस्ट मी फर्दर. Therefore, this becomes my major challenge on finding a qualified and a good employee on time. Okay, बहुत जल्दी मुझे क्वालिफाइड और स्किल्ड एम्प्लॉय नहीं मिलेंगे. सो दैट बिकम्स माय फर्स्ट मेजर चैलेंज. सेकंड इज मेकिंग श्योर दैट अ रेज्यूमे इज लेजिटिमेट. ओके, यानी वो रेज्यूमे में जो मेंशन्ड है वो करेक्ट इन्फॉर्मेशन है या नहीं. ओके, फिगर आउट करना itself is very difficult task. आपको मैंने वही रिक्रूटमेंट में स्क्रीनिंग स्टेप बताया था ना. मेनी अ टाइम्स स्टूडेंट्स आप स्क्रीनिंग में समझ जाओगे कि एम्प्लॉय फेक कर रहा है. ओके, फॉर एग्जाम्पल एम्प्लॉय ने बोला है कि मेरे को कंप्यूटर स्किल्स मेरा बहुत अच्छा है, आई नो बेसिक्स ऑफ कंप्यूटर. मैं उसको जरा सा कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछ लूँ, कुछ फंक्शंस ऑफ एक्सेल, वी लुकअप, एच लुकअप, और उसको नहीं आया वो चीज. ओके, ऑटोमेटिकली मैं समझ जाऊंगी कि ये एम्प्लॉय ने रिज्यूमे फेक किया है. विच ब्रिंग्स मी to tell you one thing, since most of you are going to immediately apply for jobs after your graduation, make sure that whatever is written in your resume is correct. Okay, do not underestimate the companies have a very unique way of identifying कि भाई आपने जो लिखा है वो कितना correct है और कितना incorrect है. Please don't say I'm very fluent in Hindi, Marathi and English, okay, especially if you are not. I tell you how. मेरे resume में mention था can speak and write English, Hindi and Marathi. Okay, मुझे लिखना पड़ा मराठी because I did not wanted to let go of opportunities, especially in Bombay में companies prefer, you know, that you should know basic Marathi. Okay, but when I was giving interview, I understood दो तीन जगह पे कि interviewer मेरे मराठी language को भी चेक कर रहे हैं, तो therefore do not make a mistake like this. मैंने बाद में रेक्टिफाई किया that good in English and Hindi and can interpret Marathi language, okay, can understand but cannot speak. Okay, आप clearly अपने resume में mention करो, do not fake out anything, anything, not just your qualification. किसी भी चीज में fake नहीं करना चाहिए. Immediately recruiter को मालूम पड़ जाता है कि आप fake कर रहे हो. Okay, और वहां पे आपके resume कितना legitimate है या नहीं है उसके ऊपर क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा. So make sure whatever you mention in your resume you have read that. Okay, let me tell you, मेरे पास कैंडिडेट्स आते थे इंटरव्यू के लिए और वो लोग ना साइबर कैफे से रेज्यूमे बना के लाते थे, तो वो लोग साइबर कैफे वाले लोग फॉर्मेट उठाते हैं इंटरनेट से और जहाँ पे लगता है वहां पे पेस्ट कर देते हैं. तो काफी कैंडिडेट्स आते थे जो जिनके रेज्यूमे में लिखा हुआ है कि इंटरेस्ट इन इंडोर गेम्स एंड आउटडोर गेम्स, और पूछने पर उनको मालूम भी नहीं होता था. एंड देन दे यूज्ड टू आस्क मी, ओ इज इट रिटन इन द रेज्यूमे क्या, आई एम सो सॉरी. सो ऐसा मत करो, रीड करो आपको रेज्यूमे जब आप इंटरव्यू के लिए जा रहे हो, तो पहले देखो आपने जो उसमें लिखा है वो करेक्ट है या नहीं, और कहीं से भी कॉपी पेस्ट भी कर रहे हो ना कुछ, तो फिर वो भी उसको भी अंडरस्टैंड करो कि क्या कॉपी पेस्ट कर रहे हो. ओके, यस, पॉइंट नंबर 2.
Make sure a resume is legitimate. As mentioned above, employees will oftentimes fake resume. They will also fake referrals, certificates, and even education. This is because most employers that don't have time to research a potential employee's resume. In order to make sure that an employee's resume is legitimate, a recruiter or recruiting service should look into every qualification that employee claims to have.
Okay, so my second challenge is to find out whether the resume is legitimate or not. Okay, so what I can do is during the interview, I will cross question the candidate and will try to figure out whatever written in the resume is right or not. Okay, because most of the employers will have no time to go and do the background check. Okay, कि एम्प्लॉय ने मेंशन किया है सर्टिफिकेट्स एंड एजुकेशन के बारे में, रेफरल के बारे में, तो आपके पास इतना टाइम तो नहीं होगा कि आप सब कैंडिडेट का बैकग्राउंड वेरिफिकेशन करो, है ना. तो यू हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल व्हेन यू आर डूइंग द स्क्रीनिंग ऑफ द कैंडिडेट. स्क्रीनिंग में आपको बहुत कुछ मालूम पड़ जाएगा. Okay, during the screening itself you will understand that you know most of the information written in the resume is right or not. Any difficulty in first 2 points?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we have completed factors affecting recruitment process. We have total 5 steps: planning, strategy development, identifying the sources, screening of the candidate, and of course, evaluation and control. After that, we have started with challenges in recruitment. We have discussed the major challenges in general, and then we have started with challenges in specific. So 2 points वहाँ पे complete हो गया है. Point number 1 था finding qualified people on time, and point number 2 is making sure if the resume is legitimate or not. All right, students, and I think I stop here and we continue in the next session. If there is anything that you would want to ask me, any questions to me.
Ma'am, about Black Book project.
About Black Book project, tell me, Anisha.
Ma'am, how we can start doing that? Like,
How to start? Okay, now this is a very invalid, just a moment, pehle to